It's exactly 2:17 in the morning right now. And it's been on my heart. I know everybody that have the best job course experience, but I'm gonna say this again. This is solely based off of my experience as a student. I probably wonder what led me to turn a job course. If you know me and you've been knowing me forever, since high school, since middle school, since the days at Boone Park, whatever it is, like whatever you've been knowing me and whatever you know me from. Um, people make mistakes in their life, man. I was like 19 years old. I got in some legal, I don't want to say trouble. I'm saying I got into a legal fender bender. That's what I'm saying. It was a fender bender because it wasn't fatal. I didn't total myself, so it set back my life for like 3-4 years, and I had no idea at 19 years old that my road to job corps was already set up from that. Like from that point on, until from 19 until I was 22, it was hard for me to get a job, hard for me to keep a job, and I fell into a state of depression. Like I didn't even want to do anything but eat, sleep, hoop, and I needed to leave home. Reached out to all of them, and they set up the paperwork. It took me about a month to get in, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correctly. And before you even get there, they screen you, background check, all that, and they also give you a tour, right? So I went on a tour of the center. I met this lady named Miss Patrice Williams. This was my first time meeting her. I can't remember exactly what her position was at that time, but she, when my mother took me there, they greeted me. They didn't let my mother tour the center with me, which was kind of weird to me, but I understand why now. My first perspective of job corps was that this is very, very stereotypical. I don't know if that's a word, like a facility meant to keep you in. One of the first things I noticed, everybody in uniform, everybody in some kind of uniform, and that just stood out to me. I was just like, these students work. And she was like, yeah, all our students work. They have trade, they go to academics, and they do all of the above. First, we went to culinary, went down to the culinary, went to CPP, we went to wellness, and we viewed the solo parenting to all the hard trade areas, which is in the back of job corps. We toured the gym, we toured the CAF, we toured the dorms, and I got to see a lot of people, man. I got to meet a few people from the trade that I was looking to go into, but after we toured the dorms where I saw I was staying at, I'm gonna just say that. So, skirt. And that pretty much concluded the tour. I probably was the first person out of my OT. When you first get there, you check in. They literally check everything you have: socks, underwear, shirts, pants, shoes, electronics, whatever you have that's not attached to your body physically. And that was a very lengthy process. That may have took, I don't know, process probably took like an hour and a half, 2 hours, And when you first get out, you meet the RA. RA is your resident advisor. When it's your first day on center, like you're in a sense, you're fresh meat. Basically, you're something new. You fresh. Like everybody want to see you. Everybody want to talk to you. So you kind of, sort of popular. So everybody was, interacting with you. Just trying to see who you is, where you from, and what you want to do. Like first of all, the dorms is not what I expected at all. You have three, it's 3 beds, 3 students per dorm, 3 lockers per dorm, right? It's very small twin bed. You have one on the floor, one stacked up on top of each other. The rooms are not really that big. It's white tile floor, and that's just my room. You have a community bathrooms. You know, when you think of that, I know you probably think the stalls just out and open. No, everything. You had privacy in there. You know, you had like 4 showers. You had 2 bathrooms on each end, right? You got east end of the building and you got the west end of the. If I'm not mistaken, I was in room 160. So it's probably about 25 to 30 people, maybe more, on each floor. And these are 3 to a room, so it's always very busy. Like in the dorm, you got a group room where you go sit down, mingle with your other people on your floor, play games. You know, we used to have a lot of Madden tournaments, in 2K tournaments, playing Uncharted, you know, playing GTA, whatever, playing cards, spades, Reddit Hall, Power Hall, CB King, Robinson Hall. Those are 4 dorms. It's 3 boys dorm, 1 girls dorm. The girls dorm is CB King. And I know a lot of y'all probably think about that ratio. Yeah, that ratio is crazy. That ratio is crazy, opposite in the direction that you want it to be. But hey, let's talk about roommates. Let's talk about it. When I first got there, I was in a room with 2 people. It was 2 people already in that room, and I instantly requested to be moved to another room, you know, for my personal preferences. I'm not gonna speak too much about that, but you know, I didn't like the atmosphere of that room. So the RA, which at that time, if I'm not mistaken, was Miss Murphy or either Miss Harris. No, it was Miss Harris at the time. She didn't, you know, she didn't just brush me off. She listened to me. She heard me out, and I was a new student, so they wanted to make sure that we felt comfortable, that we felt at home, and I really appreciate her for that, because I remember that to this day. And she turned out being one of my favorite staff members there, you know, of all. But my roommates was Caleb and Ray. Not everybody has roommates that has the same standard that they have, you know, in a sense. It was just me and McCaleb in the room at first. He was a dark-skinned guy, you know. He had dreads like in one spot of his head. Like, I'll never forget that. You know, he was a pretty cool dude. You know, he welcomed me in, and you know, he just let me know how everything goes. So I had a pretty cool roommate. My entire time I was in Job Corps, I had a pretty cool roommate. So after a while, one of my OTs moved in. His name is Ray Alisea. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't think I ever pronounced his name the right way. He's from the Virgin Islands. And that he was my OT. You know, we had already established a relationship, a certain bond. So, you know, all of my roommates really meshed really good. So as time went on, you know, when Caleb left, I got moved from one room, which was 116, on the east end, to the west end, to 105. And in this room, I had dorm centers, because we were dorm centers, so they put all the dorm centers in one. So these roommates, these 2, were 2 student leaders, so they stayed on top of their game. So we kept our room up and tight. Like, they rate our room score off of the cleanliness on a scale of 1 to 5. We had 5s all week, you know. And I actually found out that one of my roommates, Kevin Shackelford, that he was my cousin. It's a small world. It's a small world. And I can't forget about Stacy, man. Stacy was in the room with us at one point in time. And Stacy was a cool dude too, man. And also Tyreek. Tyreek is a different breed. He's from Florida. He used to be on the phone with his girlfriend all night. Just, man, he really used to get on my nerves, if you want me to be honest. If you want me to be honest, he used to get on my nerves. And I told him that. You know, I told him that. He's a cool dude, man. Hopefully, you know, it's a small world. Hopefully I run into him again. So, for what I just told you, I always had good roommates. The calf food was something different, because I'm used to home cooking. And boy, did I miss my grandma cooking so much when I was at Job Corps, man. But we ain't gonna talk about that. We talk about the calf. So I love breakfast. If you know me, you know I love breakfast. During this time, our center director used to come in the calf and cook breakfast or lunch or dinner for us sometimes. And it used to be extravagant, man. Like, just, he really could cook. He was arrogant, but he really could cook. The breakfast, you know, we never had anything just crazy, but they did get creative sometimes. You know, bacon, eggs, sausage, just banana bread muffins, blueberry muffins. We had a good variety for breakfast. So the breakfast to me, like I said, remember this is my personal experience. To me, the breakfast was good. Lunch was when you're cooking for 500 people. I understand that it's hard to keep the seasoning up to par. I would say that. I understand that it's hard. But they always had good food to me, you know, for the most part. Some days I go in there and be like, no. But majority of the time I ate good for lunch. Because they always had options. They even had options for vegan. It was widespread. And, you know, they thought about everybody. Dinner, majority of the time, pretty good to me. I'm not gonna say all the time because it just wasn't all the time. I don't see. I can't cook, so I'm not gonna judge them too much when it comes to cooking. One thing, they made sure that we were fed, so that was enough for me. I'm humble. Like, you can give me a burnt piece of toast. Guess what I'm doing? You give me a burnt piece of toast, I'm gonna scrape that burnt part off the toast. Throw some jello up there. When you first get the job, of course. JC, I keep contradicting myself, but when you first get there, it's a lot of rules, man. I was 22 years old when I first got there. I was 22, and I used to stay out late at night. I used to go outside when I want to. I used to leave the house, you know, just go when I want to. And they had this time where you had to turn all the lights out. I can't remember exactly what time that was, but it definitely was before 11:30, 12 o'clock. So you got to turn the lights out, have the TVs off, get your clothes out, be ready for trade, academic, CPP, whatever you had the next day. That just was the biggest rule for me to adjust to, you know, was just the curfew, the curfews. I didn't really have a hard time adjusting to the other rules because I was there. I was game for it. I was, you know, if this comes with it, I want to see what comes out of it. Like, I used to feel like they made up rules as it went. Like, you walk outside and they say, hey, don't walk down the right side, walk down the left side. I'm just like, man, where they do that at? It's a lot more rules that go into it. Like, you gotta be up and out the dorm by 7:30. You gotta have on your full trade attire. If you don't have on your trade attire, then they're gonna send you the property and it's coming out of your check. So you could buy another belt, pants, boots, whatever you left in the dorm. So that was something to adjust to too, because I didn't like wearing belts at the time. Because all my pants was like fitted, so I didn't like wearing belts. So I had to adjust to that. For all the fellas, you couldn't walk anywhere near the girls' dorm. Like, security was redirecting you immediately. The culture. Am I saying that right? I feel like I'm putting an O instead of a U. Culture. This is so different. When I first got there, I didn't have a culture shock because it was the job course in Albany was predominantly black. So it wasn't a culture shock, but it's so many different personalities there. Like, each student had like 6 different personalities, including myself. You know, everybody has different personas. You know, they might not show them all the time, but, you know, they got them. We used to have this big meeting in the gym. It was called the student business meeting. You know, and they really brought everybody together. At the end of the day, whether you wanted to be there or not, we was there. That was strong on student-staff interaction. They really wanted us to be, you know, they really wanted us to be one of these CSS standards, career success standards, where they held every student to the same exact standard. and that build a foundation. So if you didn't fit in, you will fall out. You have a lot of different cultures there at Turner Job Corps. It's a lot of different ones, predominantly black. You have Hispanics. You have Caucasian students. You have, I say a couple of foreigners, just a few, like they're in the 4%. Like it's like 4% foreign. You have very few Asian Chinese students there, mainly because of the area we in South Georgia. So you have your island boys, it's always a few Jamaicans in the mix, that pretty much makes up most of the population. I may be missing a few. Those are the main races that I remember. Mentally, Job Corps pushes you out of the shell of your former self into a new you. At some point in time, you're gonna go through a phase in Job Corps where you may fall into a depression, or you might fall into a hole of self-doubt, or you may feel like no one is for you, or everyone is against you. That is just a testament to how good the culture is at Job Corps. That is weakness leaving your body. That is a new you coming along. I had a point in time where I wouldn't say I was in depression, but I wasn't myself. I wasn't myself at all. I wasn't myself. I was sitting on the sofa one night in the group room, and roommate Ricky, and his name's Ray, but I call him Ricky Ballesteros. I was just sitting there. I was in deep thought. I was sitting there for like 2 hours, man. Maybe 3 hours had to be. I was literally sitting there all day and into the night. And he walked up to me, asked me a question, man, and I just started crying, man. Like seriously, I can't even tell you what was wrong with me, but I know that was weakness, leaving my body. Like we're so used to what we used to do before we got there, and we can't do it anymore. And being stripped away from everybody and everything you're used to is either gonna make you or it's gonna break you. And it made me. Being there, you're there with a lot of broken people, man. It's a lot of broken students that come from broken homes, man, and some real different times, and some of them were even homeless. Some of them were even homeless, man. And those are the most humblest ones once you get to know them. But mentally, everybody went through it at one point in time. But I can't tell you how to deal with that. Everybody deals with it different. But just remember, it's supposed to happen. Landscaping was something I did growing up. Me and my granddaddy used to be in the yard, cutting grass, edging, weeding, raking leaves, pulling weeds, everything, that involves landscaping. I grew up doing it. I had a push lawnmower. We didn't have zero turn. We had a push lawnmower. My granddad had a Ryan lawnmower. But my overall trade experience, when I first got in trade, man, them green guys welcomed me in trade, man. Like they was happy to see me, man. And then when I got there weeding and that edger, and they seen that I knew what I was already doing, they let me lead the way, man. They let me lead the way. They let me have other guys in the trade that been there for a while, probably 6-7 months, 3-4 months. And some people feel entitled to have, that trade, that everybody wanted me to lead that trade. But my trade, they welcomed me and they let me lead the way. My instructor was T. Williams. She, hats off to her. I would take my hat off, but I kind of nappy up under her right now. So she's been with Job Corps around 20 years. So anybody that's been there that long knows exactly what they're doing. And once she saw that I had a lot of the skill set already that it takes to be a landscaper, she taught me how to do plumbing, and she taught me how to work sprinkler systems. So that was just something extra that she taught me how to do. But my overall trade experience was great. My trade helped me get my first real job, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that later on, but you know, big L's up for landscape, man. I walked through academics, you know. I wasn't in academics alone, so I can't say too much about it, but I'm gonna tell you what it consists of. Academics consist of high school diploma, GED, even the studies, and tape testing. You know, if it's more, it may be more than that, but that's pretty much the gist of academics. I came with a high school diploma, so I didn't have to take the high school diploma or the GED classes. I was in the TABE classes, so that was like map 2, map 3, and you TABE up, you can TABE out of that. So TABE was just a basic criteria test. That's it, just the stuff you learn in class, just like the end of course test or final exam. You already know what I like to do. When I found out they had a basketball program, they had a basketball team, oh, I was game. That was the icing on the cake for me. That's the only reason I wanted to go. Let's hoop. Let's hoop. Let's hoop. Let's hoop. Right now, they have much more sports than just basketball, though. Basketball is just what the main attracts for me. They had basketball, flag football, soccer, volleyball. They may have had a tennis team. I know they had a kickball team, and many more. They really evaluated us. We had 2 coaches. Had 2 pretty good coaches. Both of them played for Albany State, and you know, I learned a lot from them as well. But we had a great basketball team. We had a 2018. We had a great basketball team. We legitimately could have won it all. That disciplinary system, man. When you're on the basketball team, you got a big target on your back. Like you can't even breathe wrong, man. At that time frame, it seemed like everybody just was against the basketball team, man. For some reason, we didn't do anything about it, not that I know of. But you know, some of the guys, you know, they got rid of themselves. Some of the guys, it just was an unfortunate turn of events. So you know, we had a full roster at the beginning of the season, but towards the end, when it came to the National Job Corps tournament, it was only like 7, 6. No, it was 4. It was 4 guys. 4 guys. That's it. So that's only 4 guys who had good chemistry with each other, but all 4 of us can't be on the court at the same time. We only had really 1 primary ball handler toward the end of the year, and that was me. I appreciate y'all guys, man. Everybody that went out there and pushed and cared. If I missed your name, let me know, man. It's my fault, man. The Student Government Association, that was the Student Leadership on Center. You know, they governed us, and they were the bridge between student and staff, made sure our voices were heard, and they did a lot of fundraising, you know. And you know, when I was a student, I didn't really care about student leadership, but I knew I was a leader. You know, I just was a lone wolf. But that's not the only kind of leadership we had, you know. They found a way to get me. Though. We also had Y2Y, which is youth to youth. That was another student leadership group. You know, that's the group that I was in. You know, we went on different trips. You know, we used to go out to eat, go to Corral, we used to go to Fun Park, we used to go bowling, things like that. Went to the zoo. You know, we did a lot of giving back to the students. We used to give out food in the community. You know, we was very community oriented. You know, we was in the parade. I actually was in the parade, in the Christmas parade in Albany. I don't know if anybody remember that, but I was in it. You actually go see the picture of it at the end of this video. Man, the brotherhood with Mr. Lambert. Mr. Lambert is that guy, man. I love the brotherhood, man. It brought all the young men together, man. It brought all the young men together, and he made us want to do better than anybody has ever done. And I really appreciate him. Like, I should have mentioned him first, but I still mention him. And I mention him over everybody. There's 3 types of relationships at Job Corps. It's just based off of student interaction, right? Friendships, you got relationships, and then you got just socialized ship. Just make up a ship. When you first come in, you with your OTs, your original trainer. Those are the people that you bond with first. Those are the students that you're gonna lean on. Those are the ones you'll be able to go talk to. Those are the ones you'll be laugh and joke with the most. Those are the ones that you'll do everything with the most. Lunch, breakfast, dinner, off center on the weekend, everything. Like I said, I like to keep my circle small. So my OTs was really my main focus as far as friends wise, and I still stay in tune with a lot of the guys to this day, through social media, and me and my main four, I'm not gonna say their name, but they know who they are. We in the group chat together. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If you come to Turner Job Corps looking for a relationship, you looking for a relationship, you are there for the wrong reason. You're there for the wrong reason. If you come to Job Corps looking for a relationship, you're there for the wrong reason. And that's all I have to say about it. I had a girlfriend when I was young. Ask me how it ended. Not good. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not trying to stereotype, but don't go to Job Corps looking for love. You there to build. You there to work on you, work on your future. You there to build yourself up. Like don't go there looking for love, man. Save yourself. Save yourself. So when I say about social relationships, I'm talking about the general public, the student population. Mingling with everybody is not always a good thing. You want to make sure you stay inside your circle, but you also want to make sure that you connect with the right people. Everybody that's there is not there to do good. Everybody that's there doesn't want to do better. Everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not your enemy either. But you don't need to mingle with everybody. Keep your circle small, people. Keep your circle small. Work-based learning. Work-based learning is a program that gets students into a job, right, in your trade, and you're working there before you even leave center. This is like a free trial. Like, this is like a trial and error thing. Like, you could be working in your field before you even leave there. So that means you can secure a bag before you even leave center. Before you leave center, you can secure a bag, man. And that's what I did. I was working through work-based learning, the city of Leesburg Public Works, and we used to do a lot of city maintenance, which involved, cutting grass. I was a landscape, so that was a job training match for me. CTR is the part of the program where you're almost complete. They're getting you ready. You go on a clothing run, you get your business attire for your interview. They setting up the interviews for you. They have you filling out job applications, etc. They getting you ready to go. They prepping you for success. College, military, advanced training, job training match. It's another one. I know it's another one. I should know all five of these, really. I'm really disappointed in myself that I don't know all five of these. Some things just fade away over time, I guess. Like, let's talk about graduation. I completed the program on May 20th, 2019 with my ornamental landscaping certificate, my forklifting license, and my OSHA card. They only have graduation 2 times out of the year. If I'm not mistaken, it's at the beginning of the year and towards the end of the year. When I came to graduation, it was a nice setup. They had the stage out. They gave us this, I still don't know the name of that, but the high school, I just call it a banner that goes around your neck. We had our ropes for what we completed in and everything. And speaking of that, when you complete with a job training match, you get this folder right here. What's inside this folder is what's important, really. I mean, the folder is just pretty itself. These are letters of recommendation. This is my actual certificate of completion from job. They had a nice setup, nice stage. my OT, KD, Kayvon, he was the valedictorian for our class. You know, he was proud of that boy, man. That's a brilliant young man. Right? I got to see, you know, people that I haven't saw in a while when I went back to graduation, so that felt good. And no, it wasn't a typical graduation. One thing we didn't do as graduates, we didn't get together and like go out like graduates do. We didn't even do that. Like I still to this day, I'm just like, why didn't we do that? It was a real definition of a success story. I fought through adversity. I fought through perseverance. I fought through hard times, man. Like I had a few hiccups, man. I actually almost got put out of the program when I first got there. You know, and that was really eye-opening for me. I tell you just like this, I've been successful ever since I left Job Corps. Ever since I left. So the Job Corps made me a man. It made me a professional. It did. It made me a better person. I learned how to talk to people. Like I learned how to treat people better. I learned how to do numerous amounts of things. What do I think about it? How do I feel about it? It's a great program, man. You gotta get in there and you gotta grind it out. You can't point the finger. You gotta buckle down and handle your business. Handle your business. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you for giving me your time. But I need for y'all to do one thing before y'all leave, right? Hit that like button and subscribe. You can turn on the notification bell if you want to. Who the hell is the big white guy on campus?
What's up? Which one? I was at my brother's party.
Good shot, Dirty. Good shot, Dirty.
And if you ever saw, you would even say.
Shoot, doggy, try to dreads at your toe. Free my dog, man. Free my dog. That nigga behind.